This is a story you won't hear often, not even in hospitals. Stroke gives no warning signs before it strikes. It collapses everything in silence and then, in an instant, steals everything from you, your ability to speak, move, and think. Time will not wait. If you want to live, please listen to the very end. This small warning you're about to hear could change your entire life. I've been a neurosurgeon for 45 years, 30 of those dedicated solely to cerebrovascular surgeries. I have touched the brains of thousands of patients on the operating table, some of whom could never recover. So many ignored the warning signs thinking it won't happen to me. And in the end, they walked a path they could never return from. Just remember 3 signals and 3 habits. You can start now. Your brain is waiting for your choice. Hello, I'm Dr. Park Jung-hoon, a 72-year-old neurosurgeon. I've spent 45 years treating patients with brain disorders, and 30 of those years performing only brain vascular surgeries. Even today, I still see patients every week in my outpatient clinic. Have you ever brushed off a sudden thunder-like headache or a strange numbness? Did you comfort yourself by blaming it on fatigue or aging? But what if those small signs were actually warnings that your life was in danger? Stroke runs in my family too. 8 years ago, my second oldest brother collapsed suddenly. He was 78 at the time and had always been proud of his good health. He walked around the neighborhood every morning and had never taken a single blood pressure pill. That day, as usual, he returned from his morning walk. But then suddenly, strength drained from his left arm, and his speech became slurred. He insisted it was nothing, that some rest would fix it. But as a doctor, I could tell something was wrong. I rushed him to the hospital. The test revealed that over 90% of one of his brain arteries was blocked. There had already been multiple subtle signs: occasional dizziness, tingling in one arm, brief speech problems, but he had written them off as age-related. That moment of carelessness left him paralyzed on one side of his body. Through my own family, I realized deeply how brain vessels can silently decay for 20, even 30 years, then suddenly collapse. It's like a water pipe that's lasted 50 years, suddenly bursting. Our blood vessels, too, gradually weaken over time and eventually give way. Despite having treated tens of thousands of patients in my career, I couldn't prevent my own brother's illness, and that filled me with deep regret. That's when I made a vow. I would share my knowledge widely to help as many people as possible prevent this fate before it's too late. Has someone in your family missed these small warnings? Or even now, are you ignoring the signals your body is sending? I hope this story helps open your eyes. Since then, I've recommended annual brain checkups to every member of my family, and I've never forgotten that I myself am also at risk. I vowed never to ignore even the smallest signs my body gives me. I began emphasizing the importance of brain vascular health more strongly to my patients. I thought it was just a simple headache. I've heard this regret from countless patients, and it breaks my heart every time. If only they had been just a bit more attentive to their own bodies, many strokes could have been prevented. One of my patients, Ms. Jang Mi-young, age 63, ignored a month-long spell of recurring dizziness. It led to a serious cerebral infarction. Thankfully, with prompt treatment, she recovered without major after-effects. I still vividly remember her words. "Doctor, if I had come just a little sooner, I wouldn't be in this pain now, right?" That's when I realized something crucial. Cerebrovascular diseases can be prevented, and even more importantly, recognizing the early symptoms can save lives. From here on, this video dives into the core message. You must listen to the end to fully benefit from what I will share about warning signs and daily habits that protect your brain. Have you thought that stroke or brain hemorrhage only happens suddenly, or that it has nothing to do with you? Now I'll tell you what the real warning signs are and how to prevent them. 3 warning signs of brain vascular disorders. First, thunderclap headache. If you experience an intense headache that feels like a lightning strike, one you've never experienced in your life, that is the most dangerous warning sign of a cerebrovascular condition. Patients often describe it as the worst headache of their lives. It feels as if something is exploding inside the skull. One of my patients, Mr. Kim Sun-ho, 67, had no history of headaches, except for a single migraine in his 20s. He'd never even taken headache medication. Then, one morning, he felt a hammer blow inside his head, a pain he'd never known before, like his brain was about to burst. He collapsed while heading to the bathroom. His family immediately called emergency services. Fortunately, he arrived at the hospital within the golden hour. Tests revealed that one of his cerebral aneurysms was on the verge of rupturing. The aneurysm had already begun to leak slightly, a condition called a sentinel bleed, a last warning before full rupture. He survived thanks to emergency surgery, but it's chilling to think what would have happened if he'd been alone that day. What should you do if you experience a thunderclap headache like that? Do not endure it. If your gut tells you this is no ordinary headache, don't try to power through it with painkillers. Go to the emergency room immediately. In cerebrovascular disease, time is life. The golden time is only 3 hours, 6 at most. Even if it strikes in the middle of the night or on a weekend, if the pain feels unlike anything before, don't hesitate. Go to the hospital right away, and be especially careful not to let your guard down, even if the pain subsides temporarily after taking painkillers. Painkillers may mask the symptoms, but they do not treat the cause. This is exactly when you need a specialist diagnosis. Only through detailed tests like an MRI or CT scan can the true cause be found. Also, if you experience such a thunderclap headache, make sure to inform your family. If your condition worsens while alone, someone must be able to call for help without delay. Have you ever experienced a severe headache like this and simply brushed it off? If you've ever had a headache so intense it felt like your head was cracking open, please consult a specialist. It's not too late, even now. Second, sudden weakness on one side, slurred speech. If your hand or foot suddenly loses strength or your speech becomes slurred, there's a high chance you're experiencing a warning sign of a stroke. These symptoms are typically one-sided, like sudden weakness only in your left arm and leg, or drooping only on the right side of your mouth. One of my patients, Ms. Lee Junghwa, age 73, was preparing breakfast one morning as usual when she suddenly dropped her spoon with her right hand. She was normally very dexterous, so it was strange that she couldn't grip objects. Her speech also became slurred, and the right side of her mouth began to droop. It sounded like she was drunk, but she hadn't had any alcohol. At first, she thought it was just fatigue. Thankfully, her daughter-in-law, who lived with her, noticed immediately that something was wrong and rushed her to the hospital. Tests revealed severe carotid artery stenosis. A small blood clot had traveled to the brain and triggered the symptoms. Thanks to surgery, a major stroke was prevented. Ms. Lee later said, "If my daughter-in-law hadn't been there, I'd probably be in a wheelchair now." So, what should you do when these symptoms appear? The most important thing is not to let your guard down just because the symptoms disappear quickly. This is known as a transient ischemic attack, TIA, and it's often a precursor to a major stroke. Like a cool wind before a storm, it's a warning. Even if the symptoms vanish, you must get examined at a hospital. There's a helpful acronym to remember in this situation: FAST. F is for face. Is one side of the face drooping? A is for arms. Does one arm drift downward when raised? S is for speech. Is speech slurred or strange? T is for time. If you notice any of these signs, call emergency services immediately. A common mistake is thinking everything's fine because the symptoms fade. but this illusion of recovery can cost lives. Statistics show that after a TIA, 10 to 15% of people will experience a full-blown stroke within 3 months. Within a year, the risk jumps to nearly 30%. So even if the symptoms last just days, hours, or minutes, go to the emergency room. And never, ever drive if these symptoms arise. If your condition worsens while driving, it could endanger not only your life, but also the lives of others. What about you? Have you ever experienced blurry vision or found your words tangled unexpectedly? If so, I strongly recommend getting a detailed examination. One test could save you a lifetime of regret. Third, visual disturbances. Seeing double or experiencing vision that appears as if a curtain is drawn over part of your view is also a significant sign of cerebrovascular issues. Most people assume this is just an eye problem and head to an ophthalmologist. But in reality, this often points to a brain vascular condition. One of my patients, Ms. Cho Miseon, age 66, was reading a novel as usual when she suddenly saw double. Her left field of vision was obscured. It felt like someone had drawn a curtain across a window. At first she thought it was eye strain. She assumed her glasses prescription had changed. But anxious, she went to a general hospital. Tests revealed a blood clot in the posterior cerebral artery. This reduced blood flow to the part of the brain responsible for vision. She was diagnosed with cerebrovascular narrowing, and appropriate treatment helped her avoid a serious crisis. Ms. Cho later recalled, "At first, I was just going to visit the eye doctor, but my daughter insisted it might be a brain issue and told me to go to a bigger hospital. If I hadn't listened to her, I might have lost my vision." What should you do when such symptoms appear? The key is this: don't go to the eye clinic. Go to a neurologist or a hospital specializing in cerebrovascular conditions. Visual disturbances can signal issues in the posterior part of the brain. If you suddenly experience visual changes, blurring, one eye being blocked, or seeing double, seek immediate brain-related examinations. And don't waste time assuming it's just an eye issue. Especially if the vision change is accompanied by a headache, it's even more urgent. Avoid driving if you have sudden vision disturbances and go to the hospital right away. Left side vision loss can indicate a problem in the right brain hemisphere and vice versa. This is a major warning sign of stroke. Mistaking it for an eye issue could cause you to miss the golden window for treatment. Have you ever had text suddenly become blurry while reading or using your smartphone? Have parts of your vision momentarily vanished? If so, don't just visit the eye doctor. Get a brain vascular checkup as well. One test could protect both your vision and your life. 3 habits that protect your brain. So far, we've looked at the warning signs your brain may be giving you. But more important than responding to danger is preventing it before it ever comes. Now, let me share the 3 key daily habits that can help you maintain healthy brain vessels. First, aerobic exercise. Regular walking and light jogging are the most effective ways to improve blood flow to the brain. Aerobic exercise widens the blood vessels that supply the brain and promotes healthy circulation, directly contributing to better brain health. It also helps stimulate the formation of new blood vessels and strengthens the collateral circulation in the brain. How should you start? Try walking for 30 minutes a day, just enough to feel slightly out of breath. Don't overdo it at first. Begin with 5 minutes and gradually increase your time. Walking in the morning is especially helpful for controlling blood pressure. As you walk, swing your arms naturally and keep your posture upright to enhance circulation even further. But be cautious. Overexertion can damage blood vessels. If you have high blood pressure or heart disease, avoid lifting heavy objects or performing sudden, intense exertion. These types of exercise can cause a rapid spike in blood pressure, putting unnecessary strain on the brain's blood vessels. Instead, Stick to aerobic activities like walking, swimming, or cycling. They're safer and more effective. And don't forget to stay hydrated before and after exercising. Dehydration thickens your blood, increasing the risk of clot formation. This is particularly important during summer, when the risk is higher. How about you? Do you have a regular walking routine? If not, why not start with just 5 minutes today? 5 minutes can become 10, and 10 can become 30, and over time, your brain's blood vessels will become stronger and healthier. Second, improve your eating habits. Reducing greasy foods and simple sugars can help prevent inflammation in your blood vessels. A healthy diet forms the foundation of vascular health. It protects the delicate endothelial cells lining your arteries and helps control cholesterol levels. How can you improve your eating habits? Eat vegetables and fruits at least 3 times a day. Dark green vegetables like spinach and broccoli and berries like blueberries and raspberries are rich in antioxidants that benefit your brain's blood vessels. Also include oily fish like mackerel, sardines, and salmon. These are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are excellent for reducing inflammation in your vessels. Cutting back on salt is equally vital. Salty foods raise blood pressure and place direct strain on your brain's arteries. Try to keep your daily salt intake under 6 grams. Watch out for processed and instant foods. They often contain surprisingly high amounts of sodium. Here's another crucial point. Avoid extreme low-carb, high-fat diets. Your brain uses glucose as its primary energy source, so you still need to consume healthy carbohydrates. Choose complex carbs that absorb slowly, like brown rice instead of white, or whole wheat bread instead of white bread. Also, drinking plenty of water is essential. Aim for 1.5 to 2 liters a day to reduce blood viscosity and improve circulation. Drinking a glass of water right after waking up is particularly effective in boosting blood flow to the brain. What does your dinner table look like these days? If you could make just one healthy change tonight, what would you choose? Perhaps adding a piece of oily fish, or cutting the salt in your cooking by half. Even one small shift in your meals can make a huge difference. Third, quality sleep. You must sleep deeply at night for your brain to activate its cleaning system, the glymphatic system. Sleep isn't just rest, it's essential maintenance for your brain. During deep sleep, your brain clears out harmful toxins like beta amyloid. How can you improve your sleep quality? Keep your bedroom dark and quiet. Use your bed only for sleeping. Avoid smartphones and TV for at least 2 hours before bed, as blue light blocks melatonin production, the hormone that helps you sleep. Maintain consistent sleep and wake times every day. When your body's internal clock is steady, you'll fall into deeper, more restorative sleep. Taking a warm bath or doing light stretching before bed can also help. The drop in body temperature after a warm soak helps induce sleep. Just avoid intense exercise late at night. It can actually keep you awake. One important caution: long-term use of sleeping pills may weaken your brain's natural cleansing functions. While they may help short-term, they can disrupt your natural sleep cycles and reduce the quality of deep sleep. If medication is absolutely necessary, consult a doctor and use the lowest dose for the shortest time possible. Caffeine and alcohol also reduce sleep quality. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. and steer clear of alcohol before bed. Though alcohol may initially make you drowsy, it disrupts deep sleep and leaves you feeling less rested. What about you? Do you wake up in the morning feeling refreshed? How about establishing a calming bedtime ritual, like putting your phone away and taking a warm shower before bed? Even small changes can have a powerful effect on your brain. How to restore memory. Even as we age, the brain can continue to regenerate and form new connections. This lifelong ability is called neuroplasticity. In the past, we believed that once brain cells died, they were gone forever. But recent research has shown that even in old age, The brain can adapt and grow. How can you restore memory? Practice learning something new for 10 minutes each day. Activities that are completely new to you, like a foreign language, playing an instrument or painting, are especially effective. New stimuli strengthen the connections between neurons and foster new neural networks. Brain games and puzzles are helpful too. Sudoku, crossword puzzles, and chess all stimulate different areas of the brain. But the most important ingredient is consistency. Even a little each day is better than 2 hours once a week. 10 minutes a day, every day. One thing to keep in mind: don't set yourself up for frustration by choosing something too difficult. Start with a level appropriate to your abilities and gradually raise the challenge. Also, doing these activities with others is more effective than doing them alone. Social interaction plays a key role in maintaining cognitive function. When you join a group and learn together, you're more likely to keep going long-term. So, what new challenge would you like to try? What activity could you start today with just 10 minutes a day, memorizing a phrase in a foreign language, practicing a simple instrument, sketching a picture? Anything is fine. The key is to begin now. Brain health checkups, CT, is not enough. Let's talk about checkups. A basic CT scan is often not sufficient to detect early signs of brain vessel disorders. You need both MRI and MRA to get a complete and accurate picture of your brain health. Yet many people leave their annual exams feeling reassured after only a simple CT. So, how should you get your brain checked? When scheduling your exam, make sure it includes both MRI and MRA. MRI shows detailed brain tissue, while MRA visualizes blood vessels. If you're over 50 or have risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol, these exams are especially important. And if you have a family history of stroke or vascular disease, you should begin even earlier and test more frequently. Generally, if you're over 50, getting a checkup every 2 to 3 years is advisable. If you have risk factors, make it an annual routine. The cost may feel burdensome, tens of thousands of won, but compare that to the expense of post-stroke rehabilitation or the loss in quality of life, and it's absolutely worth it. One critical point: don't be falsely reassured by just having a routine checkup. Diagnosis alone is not enough. Lifestyle changes must go hand in hand. No matter how advanced the exam, it cannot prevent disease on its own. Also, if you're allergic to contrast agents, make sure to inform your doctor in advance, as most MRI and MRA scans require them. When was your last brain screening? If you've only ever had a basic health checkup, why not consider adding MRI and MRA next time? One exam could safeguard decades of health. The silent collapse of brain blood vessels. Brain vessels collapse quietly, but your body always sends signals. Do you remember the 3 key warning signs we learned today? Thunderclap headache, sudden weakness in one limb, blurred or obstructed vision? Don't ignore these signs. Most of my patients say the same thing in hindsight. If only I had gone to the hospital then. Regret always comes too late. To prevent diseases that can shatter your quality of life in an instant, remember the 3 essential habits we can begin today. First, walk for 30 minutes a day. Don't push too hard from the start. Begin with 5 minutes and gradually build up. Swing your arms naturally during your walk to boost circulation. Second, improve your eating habits. Eat vegetables and fruits at least 3 times a day and include oily fish 2 to 3 times a week. Don't forget to reduce your salt intake. Third, get quality sleep. Put your phone away before bedtime and stick to a regular sleep schedule. Deep sleep is the time when your brain repairs and detoxifies itself. And remember, even as we age, the brain can continue to grow and heal. Don't be afraid to learn and challenge yourself. With just 10 minutes a day, you can add healthy, vibrant years to your life. Finally, make regular brain checkups part of your life. MRI and MRA are especially important. The smartest time to check your brain is when you feel completely fine. The most important lesson from 45 years as a doctor. Over my 45-year medical career, the most important lesson I've learned is this: people only realize the true value of their health after they've lost it. And with brain health, once it's gone, it's incredibly hard to get back. But that also means this: if you start now, you can protect your brain and stay healthy. I'm 72 years old, and I still follow these habits every single day. I start my morning with a 30-minute walk. I eat a diet rich in vegetables and fruits, and at 10 p.m. sharp, I turn off all electronic devices and begin my nighttime routine. These small habits are what allow me to still stand in the operating room today. So what small habit will you begin today? Will it be a 10-minute walk, a piece of oily fish with dinner, going to bed a little earlier? Whatever it is, the important thing is to start now. Let's recap what we learned today. The warning signs of brain vascular problems include thunderclap headache, sudden weakness or slurred speech, visual disturbances. If you experience these symptoms, go to the hospital immediately. The habits that support brain health include regular aerobic exercise, a healthy diet rich in vegetables, fruits, and omega-3s, high-quality sleep every night. And don't forget the importance of learning new things to keep your brain stimulated, as well as receiving regular screenings that include both MRI and MRA. Let this moment be the beginning of a new journey for your brain's health. It's never too late. The moment you decide to change is the earliest possible moment to begin. In our next episode, I'll introduce a powerful 5-minute routine to help restore memory. Let's walk this journey together for your brain, your health, and your future. Wishing you a healthy, peaceful day. This has been Dr. Park Jung-hoon for the Wisdom for 100 Years channel.